You're listening to the Kirkintilloch Herald, a Q&A review recording service podcast, brought to you by our team of volunteers currently recording from their homes across Scotland. Whether you're listening via the BWBF online players, the telephone app, or our brand new Alexa skill, please phone us on 0141 772 3976 to feedback on what you want us to provide and improve upon. Please also join your family and friends in being our audio ambassadors and share our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram all at Q&A Review. That's at symbol CUEANDREVIEW.
This week's Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, date Wednesday the 21st of September 2022. Probe after prison death. Fatal accident inquiry to take place after death of prisoner in custody at HMP Low Moss. Read by Ian. The death of a prisoner at a jail in Bishopbriggs is to be investigated. James David Hamilton Burns died aged 34 in September 2020 in HMP Low Moss. A fatal accident inquiry is to be held due to Mr. Burns passing away whilst in custody. A preliminary hearing has been due to be held on September the 9th, 2022 within Glasgow Sheriff Court. The date for the further preliminary hearing has now been assigned for October the 14th. The inquiry itself is due to take place on the 4th, 5th and 6th of January 2023 at Glasgow Sheriff Courthouse. A fatal accident inquiry is mandatory into the death of a person who dies in prison. This is under the Fatal Accidents and Sudden Deaths, etc. Scotland Act 2016. In special circumstances, the Lord Advocate may decide an inquiry won't be held. This week in history. September the 21st, 1915, Stonehenge and the surrounding 30 acres of land was sold by Sir Edmund Antrobus to Mr. C.H. Chubb for £6,600 at auction. Chubb presented it to the nation 3 years later. On this day last year, Naomi Harris said portraying Miss Moneypenny in the Bond films as an intelligent and capable black woman was highly important in inspiring young talent. September 22nd, 1972, Idi Amin gave Uganda's 8,000 Asians 48 hours to leave the country. September the 23rd, 1964, the first performance of Fiddler on the Roof took place in New York, with Zero Mostel singing If I Were a Rich Man. On this day last year, scientists used artificial intelligence, AI, to create a drug regime for children with a type of deadly brain cancer, where survival rates had not improved for 50 years. September the 24th, 1960, the first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, the USS Enterprise, was launched in Newport, Virginia. On this day last year, lobsters have long been able to keep their age a secret, but researchers cracked the code to aging the crustaceans. September the 25th, 1897, Britain's first motor bus service started in Bradford. September the 26th, 1977, Sir Freddie Laker's first Skytrain service began between Gatwick and New York. Hunters Hill concerns. Report by John A. McInnes. An open letter has been sent to Historic Environment Scotland, HES, by the Friends of Thomas Muir organisation, calling for the listing of Muir's former home at Hunters Hill House to be upgraded to Category A status, so ensuring greater protection for the building. Professor Tom Devine has joined a list of 130 academics, politicians and others who have put their names to this letter. Concerns had been raised when an application for planning permission was submitted to East Dunbartonshire Council proposing the subdividing of the Hunters Hill grounds into 4 plots with 3 large detached houses in close proximity, and with no intended provision from the sale of the plots towards restoration of Hunters Hill House. A number of objections have been made by the community groups and the general public. Thomas Muir was an advocate born in Glasgow in 1765 His passionate campaigning for freedom of speech and democracy was instrumental in the development of ideas that eventually brought about jury reform and the universal right to vote. He also inspired the formation of a range of reform societies that have shaped our nation today. His campaigning saw him tried for sedition and sentenced for 14 years to transportation to a penal colony in Australia. The open letter said that it would be a travesty for the setting to be diminished and lost for present and future generations, adding that the character and setting of the building has remained unchanged for more than 250 years. It read, "Hunters Hill House lies in a special category because of its unique association with former resident Thomas Muir, the father of Scottish democracy, which elevates Hunters Hill House and grounds to a place of special historic interest, locally, nationally and internationally. Category A listing would further protect Hunters Hill House from overdevelopment and subdivision of the grounds in ways that would have a detrimental impact on its character and setting." Leading historian Sir Thomas Devine said Muir was one of Scotland's greatest sons and a leading advocate of political reform in the 18th century. He added, "Muir paid a grievous penalty for his courage and principles by being sentenced to transportation." And that report was by John A. McInnes.
Flying the flag for 999 Day. Provost Gillian Rennick met with local fire and rescue service officers to mark this year's 999 Emergency Services Day. Launched in 2018, the National Day of Tribute is now an annual fixture when the nation celebrates its emergency personnel and remembers those killed in the line of duty. Provost Rennick was joined by Group Commander David Moore and his team from East and West Dunbartonshire and Argyll and Bute SFRS. They met at Council HQ and displayed the Special Emergency Services flag, which was flown at the Council headquarters in Kirkintilloch. Provost Rennick said it was an honour to pay tribute to our local fire service personnel and thank some of them in person for the role they play in protecting the lives of people living and working in East Dunbartonshire. This day of recognition is an opportunity to remind ourselves as a community that we have a duty to use our police, fire and ambulance services responsibly, for we never know the day or hour we may rely on them to save our lives or those of people we love. We must also remember that in the line of often dangerous duties, emergency service personnel have suffered injury and some have sadly lost their lives. On behalf of the people of East Dunbartonshire, I thank them for their service. We will proudly fly the Emergency Services Day flag to recognise the vital contribution emergency services personnel make to our daily lives.
House buying scheme is extended by council. For the first time, North Lanarkshire Council will now consider buying homes from private landlords and allow the tenant to remain in the home as a council tenant to help prevent homelessness and increase the council's housing stock. Benefits of the authority's open market purchase scheme to sellers include no estate agency fees, no home reports being required, no chain of sellers, and no viewers. The scheme, which has delivered nearly 600 additional council homes for rent since April 2018, is supported by the Scottish Government. It enables the council to purchase properties that are for sale on the open market, many of which were former council houses previously purchased under Right to Buy scheme. The latest extension enables the council to purchase homes from private landlords to help prevent homelessness. In certain circumstances, the council will also purchase properties from owners in blocks of flats, where all the other flats are already owned by the council, and allow them to stay in their homes as tenants. Councillor Heather Brannan McVeigh, convener of housing, said, "This scheme has been really successful in recent years, and by expanding it to private landlords, we hope to be able to attract additional sellers and provide more homes for council tenants to rent in our communities." The housing market has been difficult over the past few years, with the pandemic and cost of living crisis affecting sellers, but we hope that by extending our scheme, we can purchase and deliver more homes in areas where there is demand for that type and size of property. There are lots of benefits to potential sellers that can make it much easier for them to sell their home. It also gives us the opportunity to bring empty properties back into use that have been lying empty or derelict. The opportunity for sellers in mixed tenure blocks of flats to sell to the council and stay in their home also allows us to progress with common refurbishment works, which will benefit all tenants in the block. Read by Alan Todd.
House price rise again. Report by Joseph Hook. House prices increased by 3.4%, more than the average for Scotland. In East Dunbartonshire in July, new figures show. The boost contributes to the longer term trend, which has seen property prices in the area achieve 14.1 annual growth. The average East Dunbartonshire house price in July was £269,476, Land Registry figures show, a 3.4% increase on June. Over the month, the picture was better than that across Scotland, where prices increased 0.6%, and East Dunbartonshire outperformed the 2% rise for the UK as a whole. Across the UK, the average UK house price leapt by 15.5% in the year to July, marking the biggest increase in 19 years. But the increase in annual inflation was mainly because of a base effect from the falls in prices seen this time last year. This was as a result of changes in the stamp duty holiday, the Office for National Statistics said. Over the last year, the average sale price of property in East Dunbartonshire rose by £33,000, putting the area 10th among Scotland's 32 local authorities with price data for annual growth. The best annual growth in the region was in the Orkney Islands, where property prices increased on average by 26.9% to £222,000. At the other end of the scale, properties in Aberdeen gained just 0.8% in value, giving an average price of £149,000. Owners of terraced houses saw the biggest improvement in property prices in East Dunbartonshire in the month of July. Terraced houses increased by 3.7% to £202,776 on average. Over the last year, prices rose by 14.3%. Among other types of property, detached, up 2.9% monthly, up 16.5% annually, £489,289 average. Semi-detached, up 3.5% monthly, up 14.4% annually, £281,374 average. Flats, up 3.5% monthly, up 10.7% annually, £141,915 average. First time buyers in East Dunbartonshire spent an average of £199,000 in their property. This was £24,000 more than a year ago, and £46,000 more than in July 2017. By comparison, former owner-occupiers paid £322,000 on average in July, 62% more than first-time buyers. How did the property prices in East Dunbartonshire compare? Buyers paid 39.6% more than the average price in Scotland, £193,000, in July for a property in East Dunbartonshire. Across Scotland, property prices are high compared to those across the UK, where the average home costs £292,000. The most expensive properties in Scotland were in Edinburgh, £329,000 on average, and 1.2 times as more than in East Dunbartonshire. Edinburgh properties cost 2.6 times as much as homes in Inverclyde, £125,000 average, at the other end of the scale. The highest properties prices across the United Kingdom were in Kensington and Chelsea. Average property prices in July in East Dunbartonshire, £269,476. Scotland, £192,966. United Kingdom, £292,118. Annual growth to July in East Dunbartonshire, plus 14.1%. Scotland, plus 9.9%. United Kingdom, plus 15.5%. And that was a report by Joseph Hook, data reporter.
For the love of Betsy. Strathkelvin and Bearsden MSP Rona Mackay has praised the selfless fundraising efforts of a Bishopbriggs girl in memory of her much-loved baby sister. Little Betsy Bingham passed away at the age of 9 months at the Royal Hospital for Children in Glasgow. In her memory, big-hearted big sister Thea, 10, asked family and friends to donate to the Glasgow Hospital Children's Charity rather than give her a birthday present. The generous youngster raised the grand sum of £1,111. SNP MSP Ms Mackay paid tribute to Thea's generosity at the Scottish Parliament. She said, "We are all deeply touched by Thea's thoughtful actions in thanking the hospital where her much-loved sister, Betsy, was cared for. Thanks to Thea's generosity and the generosity of everyone who attended her birthday, the Children's Hospital Charity can use these funds to create a positive impact by supporting children and their families." She also commended Thea's parents, Gillian Matt, and her sister, Blythe, in supporting Thea's decision in planning how best to celebrate her special day. Ms Mackay added, "So many birthday parties and celebrations were paused during the COVID pandemic, which makes the compassion and kindness of young people in thinking of the needs of other people extra special." Hannah Young, head teacher at Thomas Muir Primary School, where Thea is a pupil, also paid tribute to the kind-hearted youngster. Describing her as a great role model and sister, she said, "Staff and pupils at Thomas Muir Primary School are delighted to hear that Thea's fundraising efforts have been widely recognised and that the motion has been raised in Parliament. Thea brings positivity, happiness to our school community on a daily basis, and we are extremely proud of her and all that she has done to fundraise for the Glasgow Children's Hospital. She's a great role model and sister. Well done, Thea." Glasgow Children's Hospital Charity fundraised to ensure that every baby, child and young person treated at Scotland's largest children's hospital receives the extra special care they deserve.
Upgrade needed at venue is recorded by Hunter MacDonald. A North Lanarkshire restaurant has been handed a new improvement required food hygiene rating. Chin Chin, a restaurant, cafe or canteen at 6 Old Gartloch Road, Gartcosh, North Lanarkshire, was given the score. This was after assessment on August the 17th, the Food Standard Agency's website shows. Takeaway Best Chippy at 164 Cumbernauld Road, Muirhead, North Lanarkshire, was also handed an improvement required rating after assessment on August the 15th. Ocean Takeaway at 148 Logan Road, Motherwell, Lanarkshire, was also given an improvement required classification when assessed on August the 15th. And North Lanarkshire's Takeaway Starry's Curry House was given the score after assessment on August the 11th, the Food Standards Agency's website shows. It means that of North Lanarkshire's 305 restaurants, cafes and canteens with ratings 298, 98%, have passed ratings and just 7 require improvement.
Council plans to aid young people in care, by Neil McGrory, local democracy reporter. Councillors have approved various actions designed to improve the lives of care experienced young people in North Lanarkshire. The Champions Board, a group of senior figures from council services and partner organisations, have been working with Today Not Tomorrow, a group of older care experienced people, placing an emphasis on language. The resulting approach has been tested in a children's home and includes the introduction of memory boxes, which children and young people will take with them when they move on. This work is also leading to a move away from standard arrangements for family time, with a greater focus on the individual and family needs, and sustaining key relationships, especially where brothers and sisters are unable to stay together. Children's houses are involved in a pilot project led by Aberlour and Kibble, promoting alternatives to the physical restraint of children by use of safe holds. 8 staff have been appointed to further develop this and have been taking special training over the summer months. Work is also continuing to further develop practice in supporting unaccompanied children seeking asylum, and outreach work helping families reuniting following time in care. A further review of care services for children is also underway to help bring about various improvements. This includes consultations with carers, implementation of further actions to support foster families, and looking at allowances. An additional £70,000 has been allocated to the virtual school programme, and a full-time teacher has been recruited, bringing the team to a total of 5. The virtual school programme has helped 75 young people gain 150 qualifications and continues to provide vocational training. Since its founding last year, the Promise Development Team has taken many different actions to help young people in care. This diverse work will continue, and members are also preparing for a conference which will take place in November. All of this was covered in a report presented to North Lanarkshire Council's Education and Families Committee. Members agreed to endorse all of the next steps proposed, and that report was by Neil McGrory.
Wages not keeping up. Average wages in East Dunbartonshire have risen by less than 6% as the cost of living crisis begins to bite and real wages continue to fall across the UK, new figures show. The Trade Union Congress said the new Prime Minister, Liz Truss, must get pay rising ahead of a difficult winter with many households worried how they will make ends meet. The latest ONS figures show median pay in the area covering East Dunbartonshire, West Dunbartonshire and Helensburgh and Lomond was £2,228 per month in August, up from £2,122 a year before. It means wages have risen by 5% in the last 12 months, just as the cost of living crisis has begun. Nationally, the median monthly wages have risen by 6.5% in the last year to £2,111 in August, but this still represents a real terms pay cut thanks to soaring inflation. Further ONS figures show real terms pay, excluding bonuses, taking inflation into account, fell by 2.8% year on year between May and July across the country, among the largest drops seen since records began in 2011. TUC General Secretary Francis O'Grady said, "Every worker deserves a decent standard of living, and as the cost of living crisis intensifies, millions of families don't know how they will make ends meet this winter." Ms O'Grady urged Mrs Truss to increase pay packets, including boosting the minimum wage, giving public sector workers a decent pay rise and allowing unions to negotiate better compensation for working people. Greg Thwaites, Research Director of think tank Resolution Foundation, said the only chink of light is the slight fall in inflation, which is still close to a 40-year high but eased slightly to 9.9% in August from 10.1% the month before. It means pay packets might not shrink any faster, though they will not grow in the next year, he said. Unemployment among 16 to 64-year-olds also continued to fall nationally year on year, reaching its lowest point since 1974 at 3.7% in the 3 months to July. In Scotland, it stood at 3.1%, down from 4.4%. The Treasury declined to comment due to the period of national mourning.
Well done, everyone. The volunteers at Glasgow's Hospital Broadcasting Service, HBS, are thrilled to have picked up multiple awards at the annual UK-wide competition for the best hospital radio stations. Hannah Gilchrist won top prize in the hotly contested Best Newcomer category for her weekly morning show, about which the judges said, "Hannah's a really warm and friendly presenter with a lovely relaxed pace. She delivers great content with a perfect mixture of topics, a really good listen." Hannah's own reaction on hearing that she had scooped the top prize was, "Wow, I can't believe it. I am absolutely buzzing. What an honour to win such a contested award." Graham Ferguson also had success with his Friday evening rock show, which picked up a prize in the specialist music category. The radio station rounded off its winning streak, making it the most successful award-winning hospital radio station in the UK this year, with another top placing for a special documentary.
World's Biggest is back. Coffee pots on for Macmillan. Report by Julie Curry. Macmillan Cancer Support knows that people living with cancer and their loved ones face more challenges today than most will ever have experienced in their lifetimes. Janice Preston, the charity's head of partnerships in Scotland, is also stressing to readers that Macmillan's Coffee Morning needs them more than ever. She said, "Cancer diagnosis and treatment are tough enough, but 2022 has brought spiralling household bills on top of the estimated £1,000 additional cost per month of going through cancer. Add in lengthening waiting times arising from the post-pandemic treatment backlog, and the picture becomes starker still. Macmillan in Scotland is doing whatever it takes to make sure every person with cancer gets the help they need, be it financial, practical, emotional or psychological. But we need your help to do this. I'm asking you to sign up now, if you can, to hold a Macmillan Coffee Morning. The official coffee morning date is Friday, September the 30th, but you can hold yours whenever you like. Last year, generous hosts across Scotland raised over £711,000, supported actions in gathering friends, family and colleagues together over a brew and a cake at our home, workplace, school, community centre or open space. Macmillan directly supported over 30,000 people in Scotland who are diagnosed with cancer every year. Macmillan Coffee Morning donations help give a grant to over 4,100 people across Scotland, worth a total of almost £1.5 million. The support line service took calls from 7,770 people in Scotland who needed immediate support. This year, Macmillan has committed £30 million to fund vital welfare benefits services across the UK, including Scotland. In addition, Macmillan's information and support service centres across the UK continue to provide vital face-to-face counselling, advice and support. Janice added, "Thank you to every one of you who will either hold or attend a Macmillan Coffee Morning this September to help us support the 3 million people living with cancer in the UK. If you'd like to host a coffee morning this year, you can sign up now. To register, visit www.coffee.macmillan.org.uk. Among those taking part this year is Helen Croney, 52, from Lockerbie, who is hoping to give back to Macmillan for the support she and her partner received following his diagnosis. Clint Burgess, 52, was diagnosed with esophageal cancer in February this year and has been receiving chemotherapy treatment at Western Infirmary in Edinburgh with ongoing oncology support at Dumfries and Galloway Royal Infirmary. Helen said, "You truly don't appreciate what Macmillan does until you need it. That is why we want to host a coffee morning. Anything at all we can raise for Macmillan will help give something back." Charity support. Macmillan Cancer Support provides practical, emotional and personal support to people affected by cancer every year. The charity is there to support people during treatment, help with work and money worries, and listen when people need to talk about their feelings. Macmillan support line is available on 0808 808 0000 to help with clinical, practical and financial information. The line is open 7 days from 8am to 8pm. The Macmillan Online Community Forum is also there if you're facing cancer or love someone who is. For those times when you need to talk or just hear from those who've been there at www.community.macmillan.org.uk.
Lending support to help students on paths to work. Scottish Careers Week will return from November 7th to 11th, and schools, employers and career practitioners are all being encouraged to get involved. Delivered by Skills Development Scotland, SDS, the National Skills Agency, along with a wide range of local and national partners, the week aims to build on the success of the first campaign in 2021 to showcase job opportunities across Scotland's industries. It will feature a wide range of events and activities to help people explore, understand and manage their career choices and the services and resources available to support them. With an expert SDS careers advisor in every state secondary school and over 50 career centres across Scotland, events will take place across the country to highlight the support available for school pupils right through to adult career changers. Employers and organisations across key Scottish sectors are also planning events and resources for the week to provide career inspiration to attract future and current talent to their industries. Education, learning and training providers will also create opportunities for the learners to expand their knowledge and experience of the world of work. A report titled Careers by Design was published in February following a review of career services in Scotland. The report included 10 recommendations designed to ensure career services support people to thrive in the future. Careers by Design also highlighted that Scotland has world-class career services. However, with the world of work changing at a rapid pace, this report evidenced how services must evolve in response to those changes. Sharon McIntyre from SDS said, "The career review has shone a light on the importance of building people's knowledge and experience of the world of work from early years right through their career journey. We hope to have more schools, employers and organisations across Scotland join us this year. By working together, we can ensure people of all ages have exciting opportunities this November to explore their career options. For more, visit www.myworldofwork.co.uk/Scottish-careers-week. That's www.myworldofwork.co.uk/Scottish-careers-week.
Space for the Earth. Scotland's space sector has declared its commitment to reducing its impact on the environment through the publication of a new sustainable space roadmap, the first of its kind on Earth. The new roadmap sets out the steps needed to achieve the long-term goals of Scottish space missions, which are to be space debris neutral, and for Scotland to gain global recognition as a leader in sustainable space. Business Minister Ivan McKee said, "The Scottish Government recognises the key role of space in the global fight against climate change. The Scottish space sector shares this collective responsibility and is already innovating through the use of greener fuels, lightweight materials, smart design and reusability. The Scottish Space Sustainability Roadmap is the next step in helping the sector reach net zero by 2045 and in setting an example for other nations." Katie is pride of Parliament. Bishopbriggs swimming sensation Katie Shanahan has been congratulated in the Scottish Parliament for her superb performance in this summer's Commonwealth Games. Katie, 18, a former Bishopbriggs Academy pupil, took a bronze medal in the 400 metre medley, followed by another bronze in the 200 metre backstroke. Strathkelvin Bearsden MSP Rona Mackay congratulated Katie on her success in a speech on Team Scotland recently at the Scottish Parliament. She said this was an absolutely outstanding achievement. The icing on the cake was Katie's silver medal win in the 200 metre backstroke a few days later at the European Aquatics Championships in Rome. An incredible achievement in such a short space of time. She added, "I had the privilege of meeting Katie and her mum Alison at her old school to present her with a motion I submitted to the Parliament to congratulate her on her success. Katie is a remarkable young woman, self-effacing, passionate about her sport and to top it all, an academic high achiever, having swept the board with advanced hires and qualifications this year. It was a pleasure to meet her and her mum, who she credits with her success due to the amazing support she has received throughout her sporting career. As she starts another chapter of her life studying sport and journalism at Stirling University, while training for the next international competition, I wish her all the best."
Diamond Day for Bishopbriggs Elith. It was a real diamond day recently for Bishopbriggs woman Elith Watson. The local lady got a surprise visit from Provost Rennick recently, organised by her thoughtful family on the occasion of their parents' 60th wedding anniversary. Provost Rennick met Elith at her home in Bishopbriggs to celebrate the landmark day, although sadly her husband of 60 years, Ian, wasn't able to join them due to ill health. Elith and Ian were married all those years ago on 6th of September 1962 in Stonelaw Parish Church in Rutherglen, following a holiday romance under the romantic skies of Norway a few years earlier. They went on to have 3 children and are now proud grandparents 4 times over. According to Elith, the secret to their long and happy union is simple: be kind to each other, and Ian has that in spades. In him, she said she found herself a loving husband, father and grandfather. Congratulations to Elith and Ian. Aside from Diamond, the most well-known special wedding anniversaries are Silver, 25 years, and Gold, 50 years. Couples have to be married for 70 years to reach their Platinum wedding, but other years have special names, starting with Paper for 1 year, and couples often exchange gifts on that theme. When Elith and Ian wed in 1962, almost half of those who tied the knot that year were aged between 20 and 24. Just over a quarter of the women who married then were aged between 16 and 19. Queen's Green Canopy is extended to March 2023. Report by Julie Curry. The Queen's Green Canopy will be extended to the end of March 2023 to give people the opportunity to plant trees in memoriam to honour Her Majesty. As a nationwide initiative created to mark the Platinum Jubilee, the Queen's Green Canopy was due to conclude in December, the end of the Jubilee year. However, as the official tree planting season in the UK is from October to March, the initiative will now be extended to include this full tree planting season, beginning this October and concluding next March. The Queen's Green Canopy is proud to be creating a living legacy, with over 1 million trees planted in Her Majesty's name across the nation during the first planting season, from October 2021 to March 2022. The extension of this initiative will build on this legacy and serve as a lasting tribute to Her Majesty's extraordinary service. The interactive map created by the Queen's Green Canopy to showcase the planting of projects across the UK will also continue to the end of March 2023, giving people an opportunity to be part of this special legacy. Alongside the inspiring floral tributes being left outside royal palaces, people can also gift a tree in memoriam to in honour of Her Majesty, with trees to be planted in schools and deprived urban areas across the United Kingdom. In November last year, the Woodland Trust announced its plan to create dozens of 70-acre woods to toast the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Appealing for landowners to support the scheme, it also invited people to plant a tree for the Jubilee. At the time, Dr. Darren Moorcroft, Trust Chief Executive, said, "This is an exciting and ambitious project that will be a fitting way to celebrate Her Majesty's 70 years of service. The woods and trees we establish today will join our army of existing trees, which are working tirelessly to clean our air, improve our mental health and capture carbon, as well as providing safe places for our wildlife to flourish." The UK is one of the least wooded countries at 13% woodland cover, compared to Europe's 37%. For more information on how to get involved or gift a tree, visit www.queensgreencanopy.org. Opinion. Let's talk. This week's Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald's letters page. Please send your letters via email to kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk and write letters in the subject field. Concern over policing of monarchy protests. Sir, it was rather concerning to note the policing of anti-monarchist protests at events to mark the late Queen's passing. This saw a man who shouted at Prince Andrew being dragged away by members of the public and arrested by the police. This followed other incidents, including a woman arrested in the Royal Mile and charged for carrying what was deemed to be an offensive sign. Regardless of where you stand on the monarchy, I find this concerning behaviour by the police. The right for people to peacefully express their views is fundamental to democracy, and not something people should be arrested for. To quote author Evelyn Beatrice Hall, paraphrasing what she thought the French philosopher Voltaire was thinking, "I disagree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." What appears to be cracking down on freedom of speech is a concern, and Police Scotland clearly have questions to answer for what appears to be rather heavy-handed behaviour. Yours, etc., Alex Orr, address supplied. Charles more green than Green Party? Sir, it was with regret I read of Patrick Harvey's so-called contribution to paying tribute to the late Queen, but without surprise as he continues to misuse his position in the Parliament, a position granted not through electoral success, but through the SNP's perceived need to bolster its position. I suggest that he reflects that our nation, almost unanimously, irrespective of political viewpoint, wish to pay a tribute to the life of service, constancy and dedication, and has nothing but disdain for individuals like Mr. Harvey, who will use any opportunity to feed their own egotism and to air views that few will listen to if uttered in a correct and appropriate context. I am not a royalist as such, but I do have the utmost respect for what the Queen contributed. I also have to admit that my love of creation and a desire to see good stewardship of our planet has been encouraged more by royalty, especially King Charles III, than anything that has come out of the Green Party. Yours, etc., James Watson, by email. Memorable car sack at St Giles, sir. It was wonderful and fitting to hear, even fleetingly, the clarsach, the Scottish harp, being played during the morning service of Thanksgiving for the life of Her Majesty in St Giles Cathedral. In its historic form, the clarsach was heard hundreds of years ago at the Scottish court, and in its modern form it now features in traditional and contemporary music in its own right, as well as a beautiful accompaniment for Scottish and Gaelic song. The intensity of the still and beautiful movements created by the lovely singing of Karen Matheson, complemented by the sensitive musicianship of Catriona Mackay, were truly memorable. Yours, etc., Isabel Mieras, by email. Wake up, Scotland! Sir, seeing the enormous turnout in Scotland to pay respects to the late Queen Elizabeth, I am prompted to ask why, at the same time, the people of Scotland have voted for a dysfunctional SNP governing body at Holyrood, whose principal obsession is the dismantling of the union that was so dear to the heart of Queen Elizabeth and so many more of us. This obsession seems to be justified by events of the 16th century and an absolute refusal to see the world as it is in the 21st century and beyond. Scotland, can we please wake up from our cosy dream before it is too late for our country and its people, begin ignoring the various self-promoting pundits in our media, and reflect more deeply on the benefits we have all gained over the past years for being part of the most respected and democratic union on earth. Yours, etc., Derek Farmer, address supplied. Gratifying. Sir, it was gratifying to see Nicola Sturgeon sign the oath following the speech in which King Charles undertook to uphold the acts passed in the Parliament of both kingdoms for union of the two kingdoms. I trust Ms Sturgeon's supporters will take note of her endorsement of the Union of Scotland and England in the UK. Yours, etc., Jill Stevenson, by email. Volunteers needed as Chas toasts 30th. Report by Julie Curry. Children's hospices across Scotland, Chas, is seeking volunteers for a variety of roles. The charity, which is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year, is seeking hospice gardeners, housekeepers, reception, kitchen and activities volunteers, complementary therapists, a Google Ads champion, nursing support volunteers and shop volunteers. Chas also has specifically targeted Glasgow, Lanarkshire and Renfrewshire to recruit home support volunteers to help provide practical support to families caring for children with life-shortening illnesses. Tasks will vary, but could include supporting siblings or helping with everyday household tasks. Fiona Harvey, the charity's head of volunteering, said, "We've identified that we need over 100 volunteers across Chas to help fill the gaps that we currently have following the pandemic. Many volunteers have stepped back for various reasons, and life has changed in so many ways for so many in the wake of COVID. Volunteering with Chas is a great way to meet new people and use your existing skills to make a real difference to the families of children with a life-shortening condition." Emma Steele, Chas's home support lead in the West, added, "For the home support volunteer, we are seeking passionate people to care for the families we support in the comfort of their own homes. We are looking for individuals who are 18 or over, with a compassionate nature, good listening skills, a driving licence and the ability to be flexible and reliable. All Chas home support volunteers will be thoroughly trained and supported." Kirsty Mackay, who has been a home support volunteer for 2 years, based in Aberdeen, said, "I find you can forget about your own life for a few hours as you are totally focused on helping someone else in need. All home support volunteers require membership of the PVG scheme. Chas will cover out-of-pocket expenses. Anyone interested in the roles can apply online at www.chas.org.uk/volunteers. Email volunteering@chas.org.uk or call 01577 866 065. Dementia research. Time is everything. New research from the University of Edinburgh into dementia has discovered that time is everything in diagnosis as rates dropped by 7.6% during the COVID-19 pandemic. The number of people being diagnosed with dementia has decreased since the beginning of the first UK lockdown in March 2020, compared to the previous year. The research was co-produced with BUDD's Better Understanding Dementia Diagnosis, a lived experience group who worked with the researchers to gather an understanding from those affected by the disease. Those involved in BUDS were largely people who were most affected when many dementia assessment and diagnostic services closed in March 2020. Entitled Understanding Dementia Diagnosis During the COVID-19 Pandemic, Patient and Practitioner Experiences, the report made a series of findings to inform future practice. Dr. Tom Riss, Principal Investigator, said, "Conducting memory clinic appointments by phone during the COVID lockdown was very difficult. I am so pleased that we have managed to capture the experience of some of the people who were affected by clinics having to close. Co-producing this research has been a great joy, and clinics across the UK and abroad will be able to learn a great deal from our report." 2 animations were also co-produced to help families and practitioners better understand the dementia diagnosis. They were voiced by Claire Gallagher, an 80-year-old Perth grandmother whose husband was diagnosed with dementia in January 2020.
Agri-Scot Business Skills Competition. The Agri-Scot Business Skills Competition looks to support aspiring young professionals by providing them with the skills and networks required to mitigate and manage the many challenges facing rural and agricultural businesses. Sponsored by NFU Mutual and supported by Scotland's Rural College, SRUC, it assesses individuals' general business skills and awareness of agribusiness issues and comes with a £1,000 cash prize to help them in the future. With soaring costs, staff recruitment challenges, food security concerns and supply chain demands, this year's theme is aptly focused on resilience. Open to individuals aged 18 to 25, entry includes a copy of a CV along with a statement sharing thoughts on the importance of agribusiness managers developing more resilient businesses. Aligning with Agri-Scot's new digital approach, applicants can enter by submitting a video or in writing no more than 400 words. Heather Kerr, SRUC Agri-Scot Business Skills Coordinator, said, "Agribusiness managers need to be armed with skills and networks so they can be agile and adapt to the unpredictability whilst also managing their own personal resilience. This competition gives applicants the opportunity to work through a real-life scenario and a chance to win some cash to invest in their future. Those who most impress the judges will go through to the final, which takes place at Agri-Scot on Wednesday, November the 16th. To find out more, visit www.agriscot.co.uk or email Heather via heather.care@sruc.ac.uk. Applications close on Friday, October 7th. Helping hand to heat our homes. With fuel bills on the rise, a further 110,000 Scottish households could now benefit from energy-saving home improvements. For the Scottish Government's Warmer Homes Scotland programme has been extended. Home Energy Scotland is calling on Scottish households to act now to find out if they may be eligible for around £5,000 worth of support, including heating and insulation improvements. Designed to keep the heat in and increase energy efficiency, Scottish households could also reduce their bills by getting in touch with those who may have contacted Home Energy Scotland previously, encouraged to get back in touch due to the extended eligibility criteria. Delivered by Warm Works, more than 29,000 households have benefited from the programme since 2015, bringing a total cost saving on energy bills of almost £8 million. Harry Mayers, head of Home Energy Scotland, said, "With winter just around the corner, we understand that it is an extremely worrying time for many Scottish households as we see some energy prices rise, but we are urging people to get in touch now to check whether they may be entitled to support. Following the Scottish Government extension to the eligibility criteria, support is available to even more Scottish households, granting access to funding for energy-saving home improvements, including renewable systems. Even households who may have previously contacted Home Energy Scotland, but unfortunately did not meet the criteria at that time, are encouraged to get back in touch as they may be eligible now. Home Energy Scotland, the Scottish Government's free energy efficiency advice service, helps people access the Warmer Homes Scotland programme, along with a range of other financial support and impartial advice. To find out if you're eligible, call the Scottish Government's Home Energy Scotland hotline now on 0808 808 2282. That's 0808 808 2282. Or go to www.homeenergyscotland.org. www.homeenergyscotland.org. Home Energy Scotland provides impartial advice to homeowners. Calls are free to 0808 808 2282 or visit www.homeenergyscotland.org/contact to request a callback.
Supermarkets top of the pops for jobs. New research has revealed the top companies people in the UK currently want to work for. The study by Marketing Training Hub School of Marketing analysed the top searches for jobs and careers on Google. Tesco came out as the most popular, with this multinational supermarket seeing more than 362,000 searches a month on average for openings. Amazon took second place with more than 184,000 searches a month, and in third place with more than 138,000 searches a month was Asda. Sainsbury's landed fourth position on the list with 111,000 monthly searches, and Royal Mail was fifth and one of only 3 entries in the top 10 that weren't supermarkets. On average, there were 116,000 searches a month for Royal Mail jobs and 11,000 searches for Royal Mail careers, adding up to a total of 127,000.
District News, Churches. St James Church, Hilton Road, Bishopbriggs. Rector Reverend Canon Paul Watson, 0141 230 4080. The church is now open for socially distancing services. Face masks a personal choice. There is a communion service on Thursday at 11 a.m. and on Sunday, September the 25th, at 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Everyone is welcome to come along to any of these services. Do stay on for tea or coffee and fellowship afterwards. The Meditation Labyrinth is still available in the car park for a mindful walk round. There are also other virtual services and groups. For up-to-date and further information, refer to our social media. Facebook, St James LS Bishopbriggs. Website, www.stjamesbishopbriggs.org.uk. Home Church, Scotland, Lammermoor Road, Kirkintilloch, G66 2AB. God blesses those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Matthew chapter 5 verse 4. One Church, Home Church, 4 locations, Kirkintilloch, Glasgow, Stornoway and online. A church for all ages. 9:30am, communion. 10am, prayer time. 10:30am, fellowship, tea and coffee available. 11am, worship service in Children's Church followed by tea and coffee. The Sunday evening service is in Renfield Centre, Bath Street, Glasgow at 7pm. Minibus leaves Home Church at 6:30pm. Wednesday at 7:15pm is fellowship night, including prayer in different groups studying the Bible. Alpha starts soon in Kirkintilloch and Glasgow on September the 22nd. Youth meet on Fridays at 7:30pm for Bible study and fellowship. See Facebook and Instagram for up-to-date information for September. Church of God. At Regent Hall, Regent Street, every Wednesday is our coffee corner, open from 12 noon to 2pm for home baking and coffee. Join our friends and neighbours for a chat over a coffee. On Sunday, there will be Zoom services at 6:30pm. The speaker this week will be Rodney Johnson. A warm invitation to everyone who is able to join us on Zoom. Access details for the stream can be obtained by emailing hello@regenthull.org. For up-to-date and further information on our services, visit our website on www.regenthall.org. The Bible says, "For Christ died for sins once and for all, the righteous for the unrighteous, to bring you to God." 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 18. Kenmure Parish Church. This Sunday we will hold our Harvest Thanksgiving service, beginning as usual at 11 a.m. It will be led by the Reverend Susan Anderson along with Cheryl Wood. Members of the congregation are encouraged to bring dry or tinned goods, which will be passed on to the Glasgow Lodging and Housing Commission. A warm welcome is extended to all of our services. The wearing of masks will leave to personal choice throughout the sanctuary. The service will be live streamed on YouTube and can be found by searching for Kenmure Bishopbriggs. Details of all our groups that are currently running may be found on our website, kenmure-church.co.uk. To find us on Facebook, just search for Kenmure Parish Church. If you would like to join our WhatsApp group or receive Bible studies from ABC, then email us at kenmurechurch@icloud.com. St David's Memorial Park Church. At St David's Memorial Park Church, our morning service on September the 25th will be at our usual time of 10:30 a.m. and will be led by our Church of Scotland reader John Nicholson. During our morning worship, school-aged children will have the opportunity to go through to our halls for their own time of fun and learning with jam. All are welcome to attend our service. There are some COVID measures still in place, however. The wearing of face masks is not mandatory at this time. We look forward to welcoming you to the church. Our Tuesday lunchtime service will be held each Tuesday from 12 noon in our small hall. Our next service will be Tuesday, September the 27th. All are welcome to attend this afternoon service. Our friendship clubs take place on Tuesdays, also from 1:30 p.m. until 3:30 p.m. We would like to extend a warm invitation. Springfield Cambridge Church. Morning worship on Sunday, September the 25th, will be led by Reverend Ian Taylor, Reverend Edson Duque de Castro, and Mrs. Julie Harty at 11 a.m. in the sanctuary. The Sunday school has resumed in room 2. There is also a creche facility where we will be happy to look after your child, birth to 3 years, in room 2. Morning worship has also been live streamed on the Springfield Cambridge Church YouTube channel. A link to this can be found on the Springfield Cambridge Church website, www.springfieldcambridge.org.uk, and Facebook page, where up-to-date information about events and church organisations can also be found. Tea and coffee are available after the service in the Cameron Hall. Come along and enjoy the fellowship. There will be a vestry hour on Wednesday, September the 21st from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. for anyone who wishes to speak with the minister. There will be a short weekly service of worship in the Springfield Chapel on Wednesday, September the 21st from 11:10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. with refreshments afterwards in the Hall of Fellowship. The September copy of our magazine can be found online on our website and Facebook page. The church fundraising group are hosting a concert with the City of Glasgow Wind Orchestra in the church on Friday, October the 14th. This is a very popular event and it is an excellent evening of entertainment. Tickets are available on Sundays, September the 25th and October the 2nd and 9th in the Hall of Fellowship for £10 and £5 for under 21s. Tickets will also be available on the evening of the concert. Colston Wellpark Church. A warm welcome to our morning service at 11 a.m, read by Reverend Ronnie Craig. Tea and coffee will be served in the hall after the service. The Colston Art Club is on this Monday at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. New members invited and, if interested, contact 07709 584 680. The 200th Boys Brigade has restarted, accompanying senior sections on Fridays at 7 p.m. The Brownies have also restarted and are on every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. All girls aged 7 to 10 years invited. The food bank remains open every Monday and Friday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. All donations of non-perishable foods gratefully accepted. Follow our services on Facebook at Colston Wellpark Parish Church, and if you require further information on our church activities, etc., contact 07813 255 052. Lenzie Union Parish Church. Sunday worship on September the 25th is at 11 a.m, led by Reverend Dan Carmichael. There is tea and coffee in the new hall after the service. Young people are also welcome to Lighthouse and Bible class. A live stream of the service is available on YouTube via our website. The meeting place and coffee shop is open on Wednesdays 10 a.m. to noon in the new hall. Everyone, from the very young to the young at heart, is welcome to join. We also have a good selection of greetings cards and second-hand books for sale. Youth Cafe is on Thursdays 3:45 p.m. to 5 p.m. in the church grounds, a place where young people can hang out and have a good time after a long day at school. Contact Kim Halliday, youth worker at lupc.org. The coffee pot is open on Fridays at 10 a.m. until 12 noon in the new hall for teas, coffee and chat. The Craft Cafe in Dean House will meet on Tuesday, October the 4th, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m, then fortnightly. Bring your own craft. St Columba's Hillhead Church. Do join us for our Sunday morning service at St Columba's at 10 a.m. or at Hillhead at 11:30 a.m. Tea, coffee and juice will be served after the service at St Columba's and before the service at Hillhead. We'd love to meet you, but if you really can't come to a service in person, you can still connect with us by live stream from St Columba's via www.kirkintillochstcolumbus.org.uk or by searching for St Columba's Hillhead Kirkintilloch on YouTube. We also have a shorter midweek service at St Columba's on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Busy Bees Carer and Toddler Group has now restarted at Hillhead on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and Little Fishes Carer and Toddlers Group is on Fridays at 10 a.m. St Columba's. First Kirkintilloch BB has also restarted after the summer and meets on Friday evenings for school-aged boys. District News, General, date 21st of September 2022. Ramblers, honouring Beatrice Clogston. Beatrice Clogston in 1827 to 1888 was remembered and celebrated on a walk organised by Ramblers on Saturday. Starting at a recently restored headstone, Ramblers, joined by members of the Subtometrists, commemorated the remarkable woman who built both Lenzie and Broomhill hospitals. She also founded the Dorcas Society and the Association for the Relief of the Infirm, both of which continue today. Her headstone was designed by McGilvery, a Scottish sculptor, and paid for by public subscription, the crowdfunding of its day. It was stolen in 2011 and has now been restored by East Dunbartonshire Council. Susan Murray, a local councillor who proposed the motion to restore the memorial, laid a wreath in tribute to Miss Clogston. Although the buildings she founded have now been replaced by housing developments, her charities continue to help people, as do her ideas, which include the provision of occupational therapy and the development of hospices. The Ramblers then walked down the Old Isle Road, noting the stones of her memorial, weighing 10 tonnes, had been pulled up that hill by 5 carts, each pulled by 4 horses. Walking through the Luggy Water Park and along the canal, the next stop was Beatrice Gardens, where they admired a memorial tree planted by the Subtometrists to remember Beatrice Clogston and the estate that carries her name. Appropriately for a walking group, they heard that Broomhill House was once owned by the Bartholomew family, the Edinburgh map publishers, who sold it to Miss Clogston in 1876. Exploring a new path created by Calla, the developers, led the Ramblers to the old driveway from Broomhill Hospital, and they made their way to St David's Church, where Miss Clogston worshipped in the 1860s and 1870s, and where her funeral was held in 1888. Many patients walked with her coffin from there to the Old Isle. The Ramblers walked along Miss Clogston's own footsteps, through Townhead, and then joined the old railway path, briefly enjoying the company of an urban fox before walking beside the Bothlin Burn and returning to the Old Isle. Walkers were glad to have paid a tribute to the achievements of such a remarkable woman who had defied the conventions of her time and done so much to improve the lives of our ancestors in the west of Scotland, and whose ideas continue to benefit us all. Pets are part of the family. Blue Cross launched its big pet census to find out more about the UK's pets and the bond with our four-legged friends to mark the charity's 125th anniversary this year. The survey confirmed the UK is a nation of pet lovers, with the majority, 95%, saying they consider their pet as part of the family, 73% saying they bought their pet to something nice to show them that they love them, and 91% gave their pets treats. The charity was concerned with the poll revealing that 17% of new owners did not meet the pet before their purchase, and almost 24% said they would buy a new pet through an online advert. Blue Cross has raised issues around the unregulated online sale of pets. Community spirit is lacking. A major new study from the Co-op looking at the state of the UK's communities has revealed that over 2/5, 46%, of people living in Scotland don't feel part of the community in which they live. Perhaps the reason for this lack of community spirit, the report identifies that Scotland can be seen as a sort of revolving door. Almost a fifth, 19%, of people don't think they'll live where they currently reside in 5 years' time. Top 10 reasons for community decline in Scotland are: not enough facilities for people, not enough government or local council funding, people are struggling to become more insular, people are taking less pride in their community, not enough housing, it's too expensive to live there, so people are leaving, not enough investments in green spaces or the environment, work and employment opportunities are leaving the area, young people are leaving the community, and fewer groups are volunteering in the community. In terms of the impact of not being a part of a community, a fifth, 20%, feel isolated, almost a fifth, 18%, feel lonely, and almost a tenth, 9%, feel anxious as a result. In response to these findings, Co-op is introducing a further 150 member pioneers across the country as a means of putting more people on the ground to helping make communities happier and healthier places to be. Member pioneers, funded by Co-op's membership scheme, bring people in local causes together, offering practical advice and help, making communities a better place to work, play, live and learn. Rebecca Birkbeck, Director of Community and Membership at the Co-op, said, "It's concerning that so many people feel disconnected from their local community. Our study shows that when people come together, good things happen, which is crucial during these challenging times. Our member pioneers have a vital role to play in helping their local communities connect, which is why, through our Co-op membership scheme, we're going to be arming more communities with even more of these wonderful people." Holyrood View, Queen's Death Touched Many, by Rona Mackay, MSP. The death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has touched many people throughout the UK, and we are living through a historic time. She was indeed a remarkable woman who devoted her life to public service and had a great love of Scotland. I attended the proclamation event at Kilmardinny House in Bearsden and signed the Book of Condolence in the Parliament on behalf of the constituents of Stratkelvin and Bearsden. As I returned to Parliament after recess, anxiety over the cost of living crisis was weighing heavily on people's minds. We have a new Prime Minister in Liz Truss, but that is cold comfort for many people who face a bleak winter ahead. The Conservative Party shamefully focused on their leadership race, while households and businesses in Stratkelvin and Bearsden and across Scotland were struggling to make ends meet this summer. While the UK government was missing in action, the Scottish government was busy doing all it could, despite restricted powers, to help those hit the hardest. Our programme for government aims to meet the huge challenges we face. People renting facing difficulties will not lose their home as there is a ban on evictions, as there was during the pandemic, and a rent freeze for social and private tenants until at least March 31st. Our Scottish Child Payment is unique to Scotland, the most ambitious child poverty reduction measure in the UK. We are increasing this to £25 a week and extending it to the under 16s. Free school meals are also being rolled out to primary 6 and 7 pupils, and a further steps being taken to mitigate the Tories' cruel benefit cap. Real fares will also be frozen until March 2023. Ultimately, though, the Scottish Government continues to act with one hand but tied behind its back. The majority of powers to make a real difference are held by the UK Government, which demonstrates acutely why we need to be an independent country. Post-pandemic, it's great to be able to get out and about in the constituency again, making face-to-face visits. I'll update on that in my next column. Meanwhile, do not hesitate to contact my office with any issue, or if you require a surgery appointment. Email rona.mackay.msp@parliament.scot. That's rona.mackay.msp@parliament.scot, or telephone 0141 776 1561 to speak to one of my team.
Public notices. Planning notices. East Dunbartonshire Council public notices. Members' surgeries. Councillors' arrangements for interviewing residents. Ward 6, Lindsay and Kirkintilloch, Willie Patterson. 26th of September, Kirkintilloch Leisure Centre, 6 p.m. till 7 p.m. Between surgeries, councillors can be contacted at the Members Support Unit on 0300 123 4510. Planning applications. Format. Application number followed by address/location, followed by proposal, followed by type of advert, followed by period of reps. TP/ED/22/0551. 33B Townhead, Kirkintilloch, East Dunbartonshire, G66 1NG. Subdivision 2 form 2 units, retrospective. Section 65, affecting CA, 21 days. The application plans and other documents can be viewed online through the Council's website. The current restriction on non-essential office work associated with the coronavirus pandemic means that plans cannot be viewed in the Council offices as normal. Written comments may be made within the above period to the Council through the Council's website or to the above address. Any representations will be treated as public documents and made available for inspection by interested parties and may also be published on the Council's website. Family announcements. Deaths. Condon Mary. Peacefully at Springvale Care Home, Lennoxtown, on Wednesday, September 14th, 2022. Mary, beloved wife of the late Bart, loving mother of Brian, Maureen and late Veronica, and a proud grand to Alistair and Susie. Reception and vigil to take place on Tuesday, September 20th, 2022, at St Holy Family and St Ninian's RC Parish Church, Kirkintilloch, at 6:30 p.m. Funeral Mass will take place on Wednesday, September 21st, 2022, at 10 a.m, thereafter to Old Isle Cemetery. Next exit G663UR at 11:15 a.m. There will be a retiral collection in favour of cystic fibrosis. Aliyah is the latest signing at City. An article by Brian Newell and read by myself, Corey. Glasgow City have boosted their ranks with the signing of South African youth international Aliyah Ali. The 18-year-old is a product of the GVW Football Club Academy, run by former City defender Janine Wan Wyke. Ali, who's been capped for her own country at under 17 and under 20 levels, said, "I'm excited to have signed my first pro contract with Glasgow City. The team and staff have all been very welcoming, and I've been enjoying every moment at training, on the pitch and off. I am grateful for the opportunity to continue to grow and develop my football further here at Glasgow City." City head coach Aileen Gleeson added, "We are delighted to welcome Alia Ali to Glasgow City. She is a composed, athletic young midfielder who shows excellent potential and who will no doubt excel in a professional environment. We are excited to provide her with this opportunity and feel she will develop quickly and add depth to the squad." Ali went straight into the squad as City returned to action away to Hibernian in the SWPL 1 last midweek. City maintained their 100% start to the season with a 4-0 win as they continue to match Rangers stride for stride in the early part of the campaign. The visitors went ahead after less than 2 minutes as Hibs keeper Bernadette Halland pushed Kingakoza's flicked volley into the bar. But the home side failed to clear and the ball came out Lauren Davidson on the edge of the box to fire home. The second came 5 minutes later as Hibs striker Noor Mustafa lost her bearings after Hayley Lauder fired in a corner kick and the ball deflected off the back of the Swede's leg and into the net. Hibs looked to get back onto the match, came close as Lee Eddie Corner chopped the crossbar. But it was City who scored again on 37 minutes as Emily Whelan headed in a cross from Megan Foley. 2 minutes into stoppage time and 3 became 4 as Davidson's left wing cross was headed out by Sibohan Hunter, but only as far as Kozak who volleyed in. There would be no scoring in the second half with both sides missing penalties. On the hour, referee Fraser Bushell awarded Hibs a penalty when Foley barged into the back of Mustafa, but Erin Clackers was equal to Hunter's effort, who then put the rebound wide. 10 minutes later, it was City's turn from 12 yards after Shannon Leishman fouled Kozak, but Marie Fulton's strike was saved by Hayland. Although Ali would remain on the bench, summer signing Chloe Warrington and youth player Lisa Forrest came on to make their debuts. Next up, City welcome Hearts to Petershill Park on Sunday. Meanwhile, City have several players in action during the recent international break. Lee Gibson played in both Scotland's narrow friendly defeat to the Netherlands and the World Cup qualifier against Faroe Islands. Gibson kept a clean sheet in Tórshavn, while Lauren Davidson appeared as a late sub and Jenna Clark was also in the squad. King Kozak came on as a sub in both of Poland's World Cup qualifying victories over Albania and Kosovo, scoring against the latter. Michaela Moore played the 90 minutes in both of New Zealand's friendly wins over Mexico and the Philippines, scoring a penalty in the second game. Priscilla Chinchilla came off the bench in both of Costa Rica's friendlies, defeats against Colombia. That article was written by Brian Newell and read by me, Corey. Boss happy with the character shown. An article written by Brian Newell. Kirkintilloch Rob Roy got back to winning ways as they returned to action in the WOSFL Premier League. Manager Stuart Maxwell wanted to see some character from his players, having lost to Glen Afton in their last outing a fortnight ago. And he certainly got that with a comfortable 3-0 win away at Beath. Robbie Young opened the scoring when Ben Daly's shot was half blocked by a defender, but ran nicely into his path to fire home. Daly himself made it 2-0 at half-time as he was sent clear to loft the ball over the Beath goalkeeper. Number 3 arrived into the second half as substitute Derek McNabb nodded in a long ball, despite being flatted by the keeper in the process. Maxwell said, "I'm really pleased. I thought in the first half we were excellent, and I thought 2-0 probably flattered them, as we were on the front foot, created numerous chances and penned Beath in. Beath are a good side, and it is credit to our boys' performance that they were so dominant in the first half, which I was delighted to see. They came down the hill at us in the second half, with fire in their belly, and we had to ride out maybe the first 15 minutes. I don't think they created many chances, but they had more possessions. It was a bit of a scrappy second half. They threw a lot at us, but as good offensively as we were in the first half, we flipped in and were really good defensively, and then nicked a late third on the corner, which is typical of where we have been this season. Glen Afton was a sore one because we were 1-0 up, we're the better side, but then lost 2 quick-fire goals and never recovered from it. We are realistic. We know we aren't in the food chain in this league. There will also be bumps in the road. I wanted to see a wee bit of character. Obviously, we never had a game last week, so I wanted to see how we reacted as a squad to our first blip. I think we showed our character coming into a difficult venue against a good side and putting in a top-class performance. Rob Roy are in action in the Scottish Junior Cup on Saturday as they host Dundee North End. That article written by Brian Newell. Petershill through on penalties. Petershill are the first club through to the third round of the Scottish Junior Cup. Petershill hosted Irvine Meadow on Friday, winning on penalties after a 1-1 draw. The home side took the lead on 29 minutes as a free kick by Eddie Ferns was knocked in by Craig Leach. An equaliser came on 72 minutes as Callum Graham angled drive beat Stephen McNeil. The match went into penalties as McNeil, the hero, saving 2 of Irvine's kicks as Petershill won 4-1. A goal by trialist Ross Campbell rescued a point for Glasgow Perthshire in a 1-1 draw away to Mabel in the WOSFL 2nd Division. Perthshire aim to reach the third round themselves when they host Kilbirnie led side on Saturday. West Park on top in first derby. The first Bishopbriggs derby in the WOSFL took place on Saturday as West Park United hosted Rossvale Academy. The home side won 4-1 as James Simpson, Connor Irving and Jordan Thompson made it 3-1 by half-time, with Martin Reid replying for Rossvale. In the second half, West Park added a fourth as Ryan Donahue. Both sides are in action in the Strathclyde Demolition Cup this week as Rossvale hosts Easterhouse on Friday and West Park are at home to Renfrew on Saturday. Rossvale are still looking for the first league win of the season following a 3-0 at home to Rutherglen Glencairn on Saturday. Rossvale host Auchinleck Talbot in the Scottish Junior Cup on Saturday.
Thank you for listening to this week's Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, brought to you by Q&A Review, print speaking to the blind. If you've any feedback, you're welcome to call us on 0141 772 3976. If you enjoyed this recording, feel free to subscribe to our channel.